Hi y'all, Spideera here, and this is a ranking review for Big Dragon. I like that epic soundbite, Big Dragon. Okay, never mind. Anyway, so this story is about two guys in college. One who's a architecture major, the other one who's a business management major. And they don't really know each other, but they already kind of hate each other. It's one of those things where it's like an unspoken popularity contest. The whole campus knows who they are, and they're constantly kind of going back and forth online about, well, this guy's this and that guy's that and so forth. So by default, that's why they kind of know of each other. Ultimately, the business major, who is a rich spoiled brat, attempts to set up the architecture major by creating a sex video. But in his attempt to do so, he actually finds the tables are turned when the architecture major catches on to his plan, as it were, and tricks him into being the one in the video. Basically, it kind of leads to a blackmail scenario in which now the architecture major has the upper hand. And, they go back and forth with a little bit of a power struggle. And by the time they get, further into the story, both of them have to kind of decide if it's worth it for them to keep, is their battle really worth what they're putting into it, sort of, when they have to kind of sit down and determine what is, what's important in life and what's not. It's sort of that kind of, they're growing as young men and so forth. Now, that being said, the ranking for this one, in my opinion, this one would rank an 8. I know you're probably waiting for a 10, and oh my god, I really wish it was a 10. When I saw the trailer for this, I was thinking, oh hell yeah, they are getting ready to kick ass on this one. And then I watched the show, and I swear, having to rank this afterwards almost made me cry. I swear, this was like, how could they? How could they take something so epic and just kind of butcher the hell out of it? But anyway, so let me give you the details as to why it's an 8 instead of a 10. All right, so now the story had all the potential in the world to be the most epic film. Let me make sure I put that out there. They had one of the best music scores I've heard in like forever for a BL. The guys were sexy as fuck. Great bodies. Oh my goodness. The storyline looked like it was going to be off the chain. It was really like, and the sex scenes, hell yeah. They were like, those guys not only had chemistry, I don't know if they had special acting lessons or what. It was almost artistic. It was so far from the norm of what you see on most of these shows. I was totally like floored, as in, wow, they really kicked it up a notch. I think the only other show I've seen that's come anywhere close was Unforgotten Nights, and that was more hard than artistic. This was it was almost like a dance. It was just beautifully done. And that was my favorite part of the show, was the sex scenes. And which kind of pissed me off, like I said, because I was hoping that the whole story would be one that, would kind of bring back some of the excitement that you get from watching a BL. And yeah, this fell off like most of the others. So now, why did it fall off? Why did it wind up with an 8? Okay, well, here we go. Although it was a great production, and I like I said, this really was a great production. It was supposed to be a hardcore drama. And even the ads push that narrative that we're talking about two epic forces coming together and the battle of a lifetime sort of thing. It's kind of like you're watching you watch a trailer for, Naruto, and instead you turn it on and it's Sailor Moon. And nothing against Sailor Moon, I love Sailor Moon, but anybody who's watched it, the first few episodes, she's crying and whining and can't get her act together. And that's kind of what they did with this one. They actually tried to turn it into a comedy. And I don't mean a comedy, haha, oh my God, that was a hilarious, funny line drop there. I mean a Three Stooges, Laurel and Hardy, people falling on the floor, people just, mixing shit up and the supposed guys that are supposed to be like the henchmen are walking around having conversations with each other about I don't know what, but just stupid beyond stupid behavior. It wasn't even cute stupid. It wasn't like I don't know, it was so out of place. These guys are doing things that for the most part would be considered not only illegal and dangerous and could have killed each other, but then in the midst of all of this, you've got these two buffoons, oh, I locked my keys in the car kind of thing. And it's like, oh my God, it wasn't even, it was so bad it wasn't laughable when it was supposed to be. So yeah, from episode 2 forward, it became kind of a what the hell, right down to all of a sudden it's angsty. One episode you've got somebody crawling around trying to hide under a bed or some shit, spying on somebody, and then the next one you've got some angsty crap while they're sitting around reliving their childhood and how terrible their parents were. And it's like, wait a second, you're living in a friggin' mansion, you got everything you want. What do you mean you don't like it's like, you know what? And the things they're mad about, oh my God, I'm like, those are things you would find with little kids, this is not in this story, but I'm just throwing this out here as an example. But it's kind of like, if you ever watch those after school specials where they're trying to explain things like, they want to explain to a 10-year-old why your mommy lives in one house and your daddy lives in the other house, that kind of thing. The child's response to that at age 10 is appropriate because they don't understand. A child's response, an adult's response to that as an adult is fucking ridiculous. By then, if you haven't dated or gone anywhere or met any friends who are in a similar situation, it's just one of those mind-blowing moments of who the hell wrote this script? Couldn't they come up with something more adult-related, something that adults actually would have issue with? Most of us, by the time that we're teenagers, whatever the hell your parents are doing, it's their life and you know it because you're living your life. You're doing your thing, so you don't really care what your parents are doing at that point. And I swear, they made it sound like this dude had some major mental problem of some sort because of something going on with Mommy and Daddy. Now, and I'm not going to tell you what it was and all that because then, that will be a spoiler. I'm just letting you know that this is the maturity level of the character that they threw in here, okay? Because I'm not telling you what actually happened. I'm telling you how his behavior matched that of a 10-year-old finding out mommy was going to live in a separate house sort of thing. And it's like, dude, you're not 10. Fuck, you're in college. Get over it. And honestly, it was so angsty. I don't even remember all the details of the family trauma. What I do know is that level of response did not match the actual situation. I would have expected something much deeper than that, like some of these other shows, where he was abused or a step parent or something, and nothing. Everything it's like lightweight foundation, but we've got this anvil of a response to it, and it's like, okay, guys, that's over the top for me. But anyway, that's why it's an 8 out of 10. Now the question is, will you like it? That's why you're watching this video, right? Will you like it? Okay. Now, honestly, I'll say it like this. If you like sex scenes between guys, and you like really good, heavy, hot sex scenes that are just like off the chain, like, you know, really, really good, then you'll love this film. At least you'll love the sex scenes. I probably never watch this whole show again, but I'll make a note of all the episodes that had sex scenes in it and watch those. Because it's artistic, it's pretty, and it's still hot and heavy, which is a really hard thing to pull off. You know, it doesn't come off as dirty porn type, but at the same time, it doesn't come off as the run-of-the-mill, okay, here we go again type either. They really went to the mat on this, and that, I think, if you like that sort of thing, then you will like those particular episodes. But that, again, you'll have to get in the uncensored, not the YouTube version. It doesn't have that in there. As for the story, now, if you're okay with like kind of angsty romance, you know, the I'm sitting by the phone, I'm waiting for your call, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. If you're into that level of romance, then this, you'll also like that, because that's also part of this. Which is why the review was an 8, because technically that storyline doesn't match with the characterization or the actual story. It's by them throwing in all of the heavy, the kind of romance they added to this is not the romance that matches the story. And I hope I'm kind of getting that across. It's it's one of those things where you've got this, you start this story out on a really high plateau, you know, of two guys that look like they're going to kill each other. But then only a few episodes in, and then you've got all this unnecessary comedy that doesn't make any sense, which somehow leads to a kind of a romance that's not really a romance, because they're only one-sided sort of romance. And it's like, wait a minute. So who's actually into who here? And why the hell is this guy who's supposed to be Billy Badass suddenly whining in the corner every other 15 minutes? And, you know, it's like, where did the connection even come from to make him behave this? You know, it's like, you know, I'm almost like, let me get out my psychiatrist notebook and figure out what happened to the character development, because somewhere it went south, and I think it needs to come back this way. So I'm just saying, if you're okay with that, you know, where characters change from one thing to the next in less than 4 episodes, then yeah, you won't have issue with this. Now, for those of you who are like me, who are very much into, you know, writing styles, genre, depiction, like, I like rules. I do. I like rules because it gives order and function to things. And, you know, I don't mind the whole coloring outside the lines, as long as you're still on the paper. You know, when you're coloring outside the lines and now you're all up on the walls and the ceiling, well, I can't even see that part of your artwork when you presented it. So that was a waste of both of our time. Just keep it on the paper. And for some reason, some of these stories tend to veer way off the page. And that's, in a way, with these characters, to me, that's what they're doing. They're, you know, it's like constant misunderstandings. You know, you grow up rich, but you don't think to hire someone to do a thing. You do something you're not capable of, botch it, look like an idiot, and then what? You know, it's those kinds of things where I'm going, okay. And so, what did your parents teach you? You know, you act like, oh my God, Dad's calling, and then you kind of cuss him out. It's like, whoa, wait, let me take a step back. I thought he was the one keeping you in line. Now you're telling me you're keeping him in line? Never mind. So it's that kind of thing. So if those, like, you know, if jumping back and forth with characters is okay with you, to me it drives me up a wall. That's why I talk about it. If it doesn't bother you, then this show probably, you know, you might actually like it. It does have some romance. I will give them credit. Like I said, the story, it's not the story. The production is amazing. They did this has got to be one of the best overall produced BLs as far as the scenery, the, you know, the aesthetics, and like the music, all of that is excellent. It's just the story doesn't wrap up well enough. You know, it doesn't, the story itself just doesn't gel to go with all the money and effort and energy that was put into everything else. It has some romance. There's some lovey-dovey stuff. It's not the happy kind of romance that makes you smile. It's just kind of like the almost relief romance of, oh God, I'm glad you finally kissed him kind of thing. So I don't know, I guess for the most part, the uncensored version has the full-on scenes that, in my opinion, makes the difference between whether or not this is an overall good show versus a what the hell did I just watch show. And but you're not going to miss the story itself in either. So whether whether you watch the playlist or whether you find the uncensored version, the story is for the most part still the same. So there's really not that big of a difference. It's just the uncensored version is better if you like the sex. Good quality artistic sex. I cannot stress that enough. In fact, you should just go watch it. And I think you only really need to see episode 1. Maybe 1 and 2. I'm guessing. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, in fact, I might, when I finish this, I might go watch it again myself just because those guys, they rocked it, man. Okay. So is there anything important that you need to know? It's only about 13 episodes, about 45 minutes each. And in all fairness, I think this is one of those where, I think there's a season 2. I don't know if they ever made season 2. I have not gone to look for it. This show that I'm, at the time I made this playlist for this show, it was probably about a year old. So if there is a season 2, it's either already out there somewhere and I just haven't found it, or it will be released like soon-ish, maybe. I mean, because all this kind of took place during that, debacle with, companies having to shut down and all that sort of thing. So this was right after that. So I don't know. I'm guessing that they will, if there is one out there, season 2 that is, then there will be ads or something. It shouldn't be hard to find. This wasn't one that was like hidden in the weeds or something. But ultimately, it's not a super long show. The pacing isn't great, but it's not horrible. And there is some mild violence, but it's there's a lot of bad behavior, but it's nothing serious. But it is totally not for kids. It is definitely rated R and higher. I'd say even the uncensored, the version that's on YouTube, I wouldn't even suggest letting kids watch that, only because of the type of subject matter that's involved with it. Beyond the sex, just the stuff they're doing. Just no, don't don't have kids watching this. Okay. I think that's pretty much all you need to know. And there's not much else to say about it. I would say watch it because it is enjoyable. For the average BL yaoi fan, you will enjoy it in general. The stuff I'm bitching at is mostly the aesthetics of it. The whole, why did you guys have to add all this supposed comedy in the middle of a drama that was really a good drama? You guys just ruined it with all the extra unnecessary shit. But otherwise, it's okay. It just hurt my feelings, that's all. I was really looking forward to like the best show ever, and it just kind of went into the typical stuff that you see in BL, so it's like, okay. But anyway, but as I always say though, my opinion might not match yours. Anybody else who's watched this show and would like to give your comments, please do so to let people know how you feel about the show. Maybe you think the comedy was great and it needed to be in there. I get it when a show is deep and it's got lots of angst and drama. You do need some comedy to kind of make it so people can swallow it. But this one wasn't deep enough for that, in my opinion. But hey, you can let me know if you agree or disagree. I would love to hear what you guys have to say about it. And I'm sure other people would like to know before they take the time to watch the show. You know what I mean? But after all, if you like it, you'll love it. And if you don't, you won't. So, this is Spideera. And I'll see you in the next one.